Hello, fourth grade. Here is our homework packet for September 22, September 22nd. So the date is going to be 9/22/25. Okay, and then go ahead and write your name. I'm going to write Miss Avila. All right. And in this homework packet, remember that you only have to do one page every day, and I will be checking, and one page is only one side of the page. So this is our page for the first day, and you'll notice that you will need colors, okay? You will need blue, yellow, red, purple, green, orange. If you don't have those colors, but you have other colors, I think it's totally okay if you cross out the color and just color in the crayon with the color that you're using to answer that question, and that'll be okay too. Just as long as I can tell what question you're answering. So in blue, I'm gonna color this blue. Okay, that's my color. And I'm gonna read my question. It says, who is Jerry's new friend? Okay, who is Jerry's new friend? So I'm gonna go ahead and read my paragraph and then see if I can answer that question. Who is a new friend? Okay. First day of school. Jerry was so nervous. He was shaking a little. Today was the first day of school, and normally Jerry loved getting to see his friends again. Today was different, though. Jerry had moved in July, and he didn't know anyone yet at his new school. As Jerry stood at the bus stop on the corner, he wondered about his new school. Would the teacher be nice? Would his principal be scary? Would he still get to go to PE, music, and art like at his old school? Most importantly, would he have any friends? Just then, Jerry spotted the big yellow bus rounding the corner. The bus slowed to a stop, its brakes squeaking loudly, and the bus driver leaned out to open the door with a big smile. "Jerry Roberts?" she called. Jerry nodded, gulped, and took a step onto the bus. As Jerry walked slowly down the center aisle, he saw a sea of unfamiliar faces staring back at him. Finally, a boy smiled. "Hey, sit here," he said, scooting over to offer a seat. With a sigh of relief, Jerry sat down and smiled. "Hi, I'm Kevin. Nice to meet you." Thank goodness Jerry had made a friend. Okay, so you are looking for the evidence for who is Jerry's new friend. Who is Jerry's new friend? Okay, and the answer would be Kevin. Who is Jerry's new friend? Kevin. Okay, and the evidence would be, "Hi, I'm Kevin. Nice to meet you." Thank goodness Jerry had made a friend. Okay, this evidence is showing that Kevin is Jerry's new friend. Okay, and so you're going to go ahead and with that same paragraph, you're going to answer the rest of these questions. What was Jerry most worried about? Where was Jerry's bus stop? Why was the first day of school different? How did Jerry feel about the first day? And when did Jerry move to his new house? On the back side, you are doing the same thing. Okay, we have questions on the bottom. My first question is blue. My question is, who called December 7th a day that will live in infamy? Okay, so I have to read the paragraph. It says, on December 7th, you might notice American flags at half-mast or only halfway up the flagpole. This commemorates December 7th, 1941, which President Franklin D. Roosevelt called a day that will live in infamy. Pearl Harbor is a naval base on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. In 1941, many members of the Navy were living on base. The base also stored many ships and supplies for the United States Navy. December 7th of that year began as a typical day at Pearl Harbor, but at 7:48 a.m., about 350 Japanese planes attacked the base. Because the United States had not yet entered World War II, the base was completely surprised by the attack and suffered heavy losses. Over 2,000 Americans died and 181 Navy ships were destroyed. Before the attack, most Americans wanted to stay out of the World War II, but the shocking attack on Pearl Harbor changed their minds. The next day, December 8, 1941, the United States joined the World War II by declaring war on Japan. Today, you can visit Pearl Harbor to remember the Navy sailors who bravely fought that day, especially those who lost their lives. So, who called December 7th a day that will live in infamy? If you were listening, you would know that the answer is Franklin D. Roosevelt. And where do we find that in the story? We find that right here. This commemorates December 7th, 1941, which President Franklin D. Roosevelt called a day that will live in infamy. Okay. And so you can do the rest again on your own with the colors. It is, what does it mean for a flag to be at half-mast? Ooh, this is using context clues. Where is Pearl Harbor? Why might you visit Pearl Harbor today? How many Americans lost their lives? And when did the planes arrive at Pearl Harbor? And this second page is front and back. Again, you only have to do one side on one day and then the other side on the other day. But because it's about the same work, I'm only going to show you one example and then you're going to do the rest on your own. So in this first example, we see that we have to make inferences, okay? And if you have a scrap piece of paper, you can use it and make your inference head. If not, that is okay. It is not a requirement, but if you need paper, you can always see me in class and I will be happy to give you an extra piece of paper if you would like to use the inference head to show your work. So here it says, Ryan was looking forward to sleeping over at his friend Robert's house. Though they had been classmates for a while, the two had only recently become good friends. Ryan packed up his sleeping bag, a pillow, and a few of his favorite toys and games, and then his mom dropped him off at Robert's. Robert met Ryan on the porch, and the two did their secret handshake and started playing right away. First, they played pirates in Robert's tree fort. Next, they played ninjas in the driveway. Then it started getting dark, and they went inside of Robert's house. As soon as they walked in the house, Ryan's eyes started getting red and itchy. He saw a big orange cat sitting on the couch. Then he started sneezing uncontrollably. I'm sorry, Robert. It's been a lot of fun, but I have to call my mom. All right. And if I'm answering this question, which is, why do Ryan's eyes get red and itchy when he walks into Robert's house? I'm going to make an inference. And for that, I'm going to underline my key details. All right, I actually paused so that I could get one of the inference heads. And so I'm going to reread my question. Why do Ryan's eyes get red and itchy when he walks into Robert's house? Well, I see that they're playing in Robert's house. Okay, so I'm going to write down that detail. They are playing outside. Okay, and then I see that Ryan packed up his sleeping bag, a pillow, and a few of his favorite toys and games. All right, we got pillows, toys. Okay, his mom dropped him off. They met on the porch and they did a secret handshake. Secret handshake. Ooh, handshake. And they started playing right away. First, they played pirates in Robert's tree fort. Okay, they played pirates. And then they played ninjas. And when it started getting dark, they went inside of Robert's house. Okay, got dark. Went inside. And then I see that when they walked in the house, Ryan's eyes started getting red and itchy. So I'm going to write red, itchy eyes. Okay. And then there's a big orange cat on the couch, and he started sneezing. So, right, orange cat. And he was sneezing. Okay. And then he says he has to call his mom. Call mom. All right, I'm going to use a different color for my thoughts here. We have pillows and toys, okay? And that tells me if he's bringing a pillow, he's going to go to a sleepover. If he is playing outside, again, that's part of them being at a sleepover. Okay, and then secret handshake means they are really like good friends, almost like best friends. They went inside, and then he started to get red, itchy eyes. And when someone is sneezing and has red, itchy eyes, that tells me that it could be allergies. Question mark. And there's also an orange cat, and there are people that could be allergic to orange cats. So I think that's my inference here. He's sneezing and he has to call his mom because of his allergies. Okay, so I'm gonna write in here, why do Ryan's eyes get red and itchy when he walks into Robert's house? Okay, his eyes get red and itchy because he is allergic to cats. Okay, and here it says, how do you know this? They want evidence. So we can quote, he saw a big orange cat sitting on the couch. Okay, and then we have, then he started sneezing uncontrollably. Okay, those are my two pieces of evidence there. Why do Ryan's eyes get red and itchy when he walks into Robert's house? His eyes get tired and itchy, get red and itchy because he is allergic to cats. How do I know this? Because the text states that he saw a big orange cat sitting on the couch. Then he started sneezing uncontrollably. And that tells me that he is allergic. So you're going to go ahead and do that with the rest of the text. Remember, you only have to do these two in one day. And then the last day will be the final two on the back page. And that will be all. So make sure that if you have any questions, you are asking a teacher for help. And we can definitely help you either in the morning, during choice time, or during recess. And as always, this packet will be due on Friday. Thank you.